And welcome back again to TED Talk Stamps with your host, Bob. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about stamps. But first, have I told you lately about the IPDA, the Internet Philatelic Dealers Association? Well, let me tell you. Recently on one of the stamp forums, somebody posted about an experience they had with a dealer. This dealer had a listing for the high value, the $5 stamp from the 4th Bureau issue of the United States with a PSE certificate. That's the Professional Stamp Experts expertising service and grading. And this stamp, the stamp listing said, the stamp comes with a PSE certificate with a grade of XF, extra fine to superb, 95. However, the listing did not include a picture of the certificate, so the poster wrote to the dealer and asked to see a picture of the cert. Not necessarily because he doubted the grade. It's obviously, as you can see here, it's an extra fine to superb centered stamp. However, you don't know what other notes that PSE might have put on there. They might have said slight disturbed gum or tiny corner crease, or who knows what. It's all part of being a smart consumer, a smart shopper. He wants $700 for this stamp. You want to be careful about what you're putting your money out for, especially since that price he's asking is double the catalog value for that same grade of stamp. So what was his reply from the dealer? The dealer said, and I quote, "I will process the image if we agree to a price. Processing the cert image requires us to put an order to ship the item from the storage location to the image processing location. Therefore, we will do it if we have a sale on the item." Well, how about if you just took a picture in the first place and included it in the listing? I don't think I have to tell you what utterly contemptible customer service this is. And this dealer would never make it into the IPDA. And you will not find such unprofessional conduct among IPDA dealers. So that's why I ask you to look for this logo on the webpage of any dealer that you're shopping at. That's your assurance of professional service, honest, accurate descriptions. And that's all I have to say about that for now. All right, another preamble to the program. I got another letter from my buddy Ace in California, and he sent me another stamp. This one is for the children's book author and illustrator Shel Silverstein, and he even made a point to send me a plate number single. And that also goes with my literature topical collection. So thank you very much again, Ace. Oh, and that reminds me, one moment. That letter came on the heels of another letter he sent just the week prior, in which he included these 2 Zeppelin stamps from Grenadines. And he also gave me a short rundown of the history of the Zeppelin, the Hindenburg, how they used hydrogen for the lifting gas, and how that was the fatal mistake that they made. So anyways, Ace, you're too kind, you're too generous. Thanks a lot. And now for the main event. Tedski's Treasures. And today's treasure is this stamp I recently purchased off of Ep.70. And it is the 30-cent American Bison from the United States 4th Bureau issue. Before I put that in its rightful spot in the album, let me give you a brief overview of the Bureau issues. Now, the Bureau refers to the United States Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Now, from the early days of U.S. postage stamps, the stamps were produced by private printers, such as the American Banknote Company. In 1894, the Postal Service decided to go with the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to produce the stamps. And the first set of stamps that they put out was this one. This is known as the first Bureau definitive issue from 1894. And it consists of various statesmen, of course, Franklin, Washington, and then you have Lincoln, Henry Clay, all kinds of cool dudes. Now, when the Bureau took over printing, they took over the dies from the American Banknote Company, which were identical to these. So to differentiate them and to identify the new stamps as being from the Bureau added those corner triangles at the upper left and right to the design. As you can see, here's the previous stamp. That does not include the triangles. Now, this is not the full, complete set of first bureaus. They were actually printed in three different groups. This first group from 1894 was printed on unwatermarked paper. However, just 1 year later, the Postal Service decided to use watermarked paper. So the entire set was reprinted on watermarked paper. A little later yet, the Universal Postal Union, the UPU, came out with their regulations on colors of stamps. Certain denominations had to be specific colors. So the 1 cent Franklin, which was blue, had to be reprinted in green to meet the UPU regulations. The 5 cent Grant, which was printed in a chocolate brown color, had to be changed to blue. Now the problem was, we already had green and blue stamps, so to avoid confusing the postal clerks, the green 10-cent Webster, which was green, but now Franklin's green, so they changed Webster to a orange-brown color. And also the 15-cent Clay, it's blue, but the 5-cent Grant was now blue, so they had to change the 15-cent from blue to an olive green. So that all began in 1894. In 1902, they put out their first original design for definitives, their second set total, and that's known by collectors as the second Bureau issue. And this is just a gorgeous set. I just love the frames around the portraits. I wish I had a few more of these. These stamps were also printed on the watermarked paper, the double-line USPS watermark. In 1908, the third Bureau issue was released, and I don't have a page for those yet. I have a few of the issues, but the third Bureau issue are the infamous Washington Franklins. And what makes the Washington and Franklin stamps of this series such a booger to collect are there are so many different varieties. There's differences in watermarks, perforations, touch-ups on the die. So for the casual collector, they're, like I said, they're really a booger. So then in 1922 came, guess what? The fourth Bureau issue. And this is the set from whence my buffalo or bison comes. Now the fourth Bureau issue comes in two different types of printings. There's the flat plate printing, which is, as the name implies, the plate is flat and you place a sheet of paper and press the plate down to make the impressions. It also comes in a rotary press format, which, if you go way back to one of my earlier videos, I explain how the rotary press, the plate is on a curved cylinder. So when the plate is wrapped around the drum of the printing cylinder, the length of the stamp actually gets physically bigger. It gets stretched out. So the major way of telling the difference between the flat plate printings and the rotary press printings are to measure the dimensions of the design. My 30-cent bison is number 569 flat plate. And it belongs right here. And that is a nicely centered copy. I really like it. So that's Tedski's Treasures for this episode. If you'll stick around, I have one more thing to show you, and that is a viewer top 10 list. This one is from RJ Arya, who has sent me her top 10 stamps of India, which she has in her collection. And we start with this one. At number 10 is this one from 2019, issued for the Punjab National Bank. RJ likes it because of the wide CinemaScope format it's in, and that beautiful shade of red. At number 9 is this one honoring B. Nagi Reddy, the film producer. He was also an industrialist and philanthropist. RJ likes it because of the dark violet shade and the strips of film in the design, which makes a fitting tribute to the man. At number 8 is this miniature sheet about Indian perfumes. And RJ likes it because the sheet has the fragrance infused in the sheet, the fragrance of the perfume. And she likes the colors and the design. At number 7, from 1966, from a definitive series, this one depicting a medieval sculpture of a woman writing a letter. RJ likes this one because it is a cool tribute to the skills and the craftsmanship of the sculptors of the medieval era who created beautiful temples and statues. At number 6 is this miniature sheet from 2019 honoring the First World War air warriors. RJ likes this sheet because it is a fitting reminder of the war heroes who would otherwise be forgotten by time. At number 5 is another miniature sheet from 2010 commemorating the 19th Commonwealth Games in Delhi. And RJ likes the dynamic design. At number 4 is this 1987 stamp commemorating 40 years of freedom, of the independence of India. And besides the Indian tricolor, it also has an abstract design of doves and numerals, which RJ finds attractive. At number 3, from 2019, a pane of 12 stamps depicting master healers of Ayush. These are the doctors and people who worked in the fields of Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy, which take the initial letters of each of those, and you have Ayush. At number 2, we have the 75th anniversary of the first flag hoisting at Port Blair. And the stamp depicts, and please excuse me if I butcher the name, but the man is Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose, an Indian independence activist. And this is an iconic image of the man saluting the Indian tricolor at Port Blair. And at number 1 for RJ is this sheet from 2020 in honor of the 150th birthday of Mahatma Gandhi. The beautiful design of the stamps, which harkens back to the design of the 2011 Gandhi sheet, and the use of various Gandhian ideas as a reminder of Gandhi's other contributions to Indian society. So thank you, RJ, for another great viewer top 10. I love being made aware of all these stamps that I haven't yet, seen previously. So to any other viewers out there, just send in your ideas also. I'm anxious to see them. So until next time, this is Ted the Talking Stamp Collector, wishing you once again happy stamping.